In this video, I'll be giving brief introduction to non-linear programming problem. But before that, let us recall what is linear programming problem. In this, our problem is something like we want to optimize, either it is maximization or minimization, C transpose X subject to constraint AX may be less than, greater than or equal to the some constant. And then we have some restriction, or even sometimes these decision variable may not be restricted. Here this objective function, let us call this objective function as f of x. So the objective function, which is f of x, and the constraints, let's say the constraint here I am denoting by ax greater than or less than or equal to b. So these constraints and the objective function, they both are linear. So when we say they are linear, mostly their structure is something like, say in the objective function we have c1 x1 plus so on up till cn x raised to power n. So the degree of these decision variable is 1. Similarly, in the constraint, we can say the constraint have some coefficient. So something maybe I'm just denoting by a11 x1. These are the coefficient of the constraint. And then we can have a1 xn, and suppose the constraint is less than or equal to some 6. So we can see the constraint also have the degree 1. So that is why we call this as linear programming problem, because everything in the problem is of the linear structure. And to solve this, we have done the methods such as graphical, and then we have done various simplex method and its variants. When I say simplex method, which means we are including big M, two-phase, revised simplex method. So simplex method and its variants can solve the linear programming problem. We have also learned using the fundamental theorem of linear programming problem that the optimal solution in the linear programming problem, this lies at one of the extreme point. This lies at one of the extreme point, and generally these extreme points are the corner point, which we also call this as basic feasible solution. And of course the region has to be provided the region is convex polyhedron. So the region convex polyhedron means it is a bounded and without any holes polyhedron feasible region. So this is the restriction on the feasible region. All these topics, method and these details I have covered in my last videos, link added in description. But in case of non-linear programming problem, the optimal solution can be found anywhere depending upon the problem. It may exist on the boundary of the feasible region, or even it may exist in the interior point. Now this was not the case in the linear programming problem. We do not find the solution in the interior point. If at all the solution lies in the interior point, that means the function was constant. So in the non-linear programming problem, we may even have the solution at the interior point. So we can say we don't have a general technique to solve all non-linear programming problem with one method. So we have to make different categories. So let's first consider the general non-linear programming problem. So there again we have some function which want to optimize subject to certain constraint, and constraint I am showing it by gix less than, again greater than, or the constraint may be equal. There may be some restriction on the decision variable, or they may be unrestricted. So I'm just adding both. So this is same structure. We have an objective function, then we have some constraint, and then we have the restriction or non-restriction on the decision variable value. Now if f of x or gix or both are non-linear. So that means if either the objective function is non-linear, then we say it is a non-linear programming problem, or the constraint are non-linear, or both of them are non-linear, then we will say that this is a non-linear programming problem. For linear programming problem, everything has to be linear. But for non-linear, if anything, either the objective function or any of the constraint is non-linear, we will put this into the category of non-linear programming problem. So now we take some examples for the non-linear programming problem. Suppose I want to find the maximum of f of x equal to x1 square plus x2 square plus 2x2. You see that this is simply an objective function and there are no constraint. And these problems are something that we usually solve with the help of the calculus techniques. So for example, let's take another very simple. Here I take y square equal to x, or I can simply write that this is a y square minus x, and let's call this as function capital F of x, or you can even rename that capital F of x equal to x2 square minus x1. So x2 is my y and x1 is x. In this case, you can have, let's say x1 is here and x2 is here, and this is the shape of the parabola, and we want to find the maxima or the minimum value. It may exist or it may not exist. So it depends upon, we'll be using the techniques based on the calculus. So this is the first type of the nonlinear programming problem, which is without constraints. So we can say there are problems in the nonlinear programming problem which are without constraints. Then there are some examples where we can have the constraint as well. Say I want to find again maximum of f of x, which is x1 square plus x2 square. But this time there are some constraint, x1 plus x2 greater than or equal to 4, 2x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 5, and even there are some non-negative restrictions. So here I have taken constraint with inequality. So it says with constraints, and the constraints are also with inequality. So we can say with inequality constraints. Then there are some problems where we can have, let's say you take another example, f of x, which is equal to 2x1 square minus 24x1 plus 2x2 square minus 8x2 plus 2x3 square minus 12x3 plus 200, subject to some constraint with equality sign. So now I'm taking a constraint where the constraint is equality, and then you have some non-negative restriction. So this will put with the constraint, but the constraint is with the equality sign. So we can say with equality constraint. So we have this as another type of the problem. We can see that again. This is without constraint, so there are no constraint. There are certain constraint with inequality. So you can see constraint have inequality sign, it is not equality. And then there are certain constraints with the equality sign, you can see that. Then there is another format. Say you consider specifically quadratic form. Quadratic forms are something where the objective function have, so this is again without constraint. I'll add here, this is also without constraint, and in this constraint each term appear with the degree 2. So for example, we can say x1 square plus x2 square plus 5 times x1 x2. Now you notice here the total degree of each term has to be 2 always. So x1 is also coming with degree 1 and x2 is also coming with degree 1. So the total degree of this term is 2. If I take another example, something like this, f of x, which is equal to x1 square plus x2 square plus 5 times x1. Now this is not called as quadratic because here this term have degree only 1. So we can see that if the function have a quadratic form or a non-quadratic form, that further become a category in the questions without constraint. And we'll be learning the concept of Hessian matrix or bordered Hessian matrix. So now we can finally say that let's consider a non-linear programming problem. It has two categories. Let's first broadly divide them. This is without constraint, and on the other side I will consider this with constraint. So depending upon which problem it is, we'll apply the method. Without constraint, again we will look whether the problem is quadratic form or not. Quadratic form I've just explained. Each term in the degree has to be 2, the total degree. Or if it is non-quadratic form. So another possibility here is non-quadratic form. So either we can consider quadratic form or we can consider non-quadratic form. For this we will construct Hessian matrix, and for this Hessian matrix reduces simply to symmetric matrix. Now here with constraint, if the constraints are inequality constraint. So if I consider inequality constraint, so in this case we will apply the method which we call it as KKT conditions or KKT criteria. Now these are necessary and sufficient conditions. So if the both condition, necessary and sufficient condition, will verify, and we will substitute that. So the moment we say it is sufficient condition, we'll just have to verify those sufficient conditions are satisfied. We'll talk about maxima or minima. Similarly, if the constraint are with equality constraint, so then we will apply here the method which we call Lagrange multiplier. So here we'll apply Lagrange multiplier. Apart from these, there are certain search technique methods also. Suppose these methods are not working, and we'll apply the numerical analysis techniques or techniques by trial and optimize. So these are called search technique methods. And in the search technique method also, we can look for the solution of a non-linear programming problem. So I'll be covering all these problems in my next video one by one, and we'll be starting with the without constraint, followed by the problems with the constraint with the method that I've just discussed. But before I end this video, let me to take an example for the formulation of a non-linear programming problem, just to give you a glimpse that we do have a formulation similar to what we have done the formulation in the linear programming problem. So we look at this problem and we will formulate this non-linear programming problem. Now let's read the problem. A manufacturer company produces two products, radios and TV set, and the sale price relationship for these two products are given in this table. So there are products, and then we have quantity demanded, and we also have the unit price. The total cost function for the two products are given as this. So this is the cost function, and then we have certain constraint here. So we start our problem with this assumption that whatever is produced is sold in the market. So let's now take the decision variable x1 and x2. This stands for the quantities of radio sets and for the TV sets. So quantities of radio sets and TV sets respectively. So these are the two initial restrictions that I have decided for the variable and also done the assumption. It is already given that if we have these quantity as demanded, that means if we are producing this much, so I'll just take x1 is 1500 minus 5 times p1. p1 is the unit price as we can see here, and x2, this is equal to 3800 minus 10 times p2. From here you can also calculate the unit price in terms of the quantity produced. So we can simply say p1 is 300 minus 0.2 times x1. So taking constant on other side, we get p1, and p2, which is 380 minus 0.1 times x2. And now let's say c1 and c2, this stands for total cost of production. Total cost of production of these units of radio sets and TV sets respectively, radio sets and TV sets respectively. We've been also given that the total cost function of these two products are these. So this is already given to us. We just have to pick the cost from the given data. So C1 is 200 times x1 plus 0.1 times x1 square, and C2, this is equal to 300 x2 plus 0.1 times x2 square. So from here we can simply say what is the total revenue? Revenue is per unit cost P1 into the number of units that we desire to produce plus P2 into x2. So this is per unit cost of radio and the number of radios, or you can say the quantity of the radios produced. P2 is the per unit cost of TV and x2 is the quantity of TV. So from here you can simply say substitute the value for P1 from here and substitute the value for P2 from here. So we get here 300 minus 0.2 times x1 into x1 plus the value for P2, that is 380 minus 0.1 into x2, and then we have one more x2. So we say that we get 300 into x1 minus 0.2 times x1 square plus 380 into x2 minus 0.1 into x2 square. So the total profit which is revenue, and let's say I denote total profit by Z. So that is revenue minus the cost expenditure. So that is C1 minus C2. So the cost will be subtracted from the revenue, or we can call this as at this moment revenue as a sale price, and then we subtract the cost. So that we have already calculated. So now this is the value for R, and C1, C2 we have already calculated, or we have simply written from the data. So this becomes 100 x1 minus 0.3 times x1 square plus 80 times x2 minus 0.2 times x2 square. So you notice that this is becoming a non-linear function because of the data how it is given to us, and then we get the objective function as a non-linear. So certainly this is a non-linear programming problem. Now we just have to look at the constraint as well. So we have to read what is the data given to us. The production takes place on two assembly lines. Radio set are assembled on assembly line 1 and TV sets are assembled on assembly line 2. Because of the limitation of the assembly line capacity, the daily production is limited no more than 80 radio sets and 60 TV sets. So this means this is the restriction on the decision variable. So we can keep subject to the condition that x1 is less than or equal to 80 and x2 is less than or equal to 60. So you can see that this is the condition on the TV set and this is the condition on the radio set. Moving forward, the production of these two types of the product require electronic component. The production of each of these sets require 5 units and 6 units of electronic equipment component respectively. So that's the another data. We have to keep this in the constraint, 5 units and 6 units respectively, means first is for radio, second is for TV. The electronic component are supplied by another manufacturer. The supplies is limited to 600 units per day. So this 600 units per day is the capacity of the constraint. So we can simply say 5 times x1 plus 6 times x2 is less than or equal to 600. Then there is another constraint. The company has 160 employees and the labor supply amount to 160 men days. The production of 1 unit of radio requires 1 man day and 2 men day are required for TV sets. So that means for the next constraint we will have x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to 160. So this is the another constraint. Now looking at these constraints, we can see that constraints are linear but the objective function is non-linear. So this is the complete formulation. And we can also say that this is greater than or equal to 0 because it is a manufacturing radio and this is the manufactured TV set. So they cannot be negative. So this is a non-linear programming problem formulation. So we can simply see from this example that if any one of the either objective function or the constraint comes as a non-linear, we cannot apply the techniques that we have applied for the linear programming problem, but we have to look for the non-linear programming methods to solve these. So I'll explain the methods one by one in my next coming up videos.